I can run through them real quick if you want a quick review. This is the frontal belly of occipitofrontalis, orbicularis oculi, levator zygomaticus major, zygomaticus minor, levator labii superioris, levator labii superioris, aliquo nasi. This is nasalis. Here you'd have procerus, and underneath here you'd have corrugator supercilii. We have risorius, we have buccinator, we've got orbicularis oris, depressor anguli oris, depressor labii inferioris mentalis, and then up here would be your levator anguli oris. Not going to ask you to differentiate a specific muscle of facial expression. The most specific I would be like that would be to tag a muscle of facial expression and ask you what nerve innervates it. Or I may tag one of the muscles of mastication and ask you what nerve innervates that, and that would be mandibular branch of trigeminal. We've got temporalis here, masseter here, internal and external or medial and lateral pterygoids there. So what this model is helpful for, come on off your stand. You don't want to come off your stand? Fine, stay on your stand. Okay, facial nerve. Facial nerve comes out the stylomastoid foramen, comes through the parotid gland, but does not innervate the parotid gland. Facial nerve is branching into temporal, zygomatic, buccal, mandibular, and cervical branches of the facial nerve. There are posterior auricular branches of the facial nerve, but you'll never see them. At least not on any of my models. So this is facial nerve. Don't confuse the temporal branch of the facial nerve with the auriculotemporal nerve here. Auriculotemporal is a branch of mandibular. This one's sensory, this one's motor. Other sensory branches we have here, this is supraorbital, supratrochlear. So this is supraorbital, this is supratrochlear coming through the supraorbital notch, just medial to that. You'll also have an infratrochlear and external nasal branch of the anterior ethmoidal. We've got infraorbital here, zygomaticofacial. Both of these are zygomaticofacial, coming out zygomaticofacial foramen. The zygomaticotemporal foramen would be back here, giving off a nerve back here. Got mental nerve coming through the mental foramen, that's also sensory. And that's all this one is showing you as far as those. But this one, if we go around the orbit, you've got, okay, this is auriculotemporal, branch of mandibular. Then you'd have mental nerve coming out here, which is also branch of mandibular, and buccal branch of mandibular. But if you go around the eye, you've got the lacrimal, supraorbital, supratrochlear, infratrochlear, external nasal branch of the anterior ethmoidal. Those are all branches of ophthalmic. You've got the infraorbital, zygomaticofacial, and zygomaticotemporal are all branches of maxillary. So you work your way around there. Then you have your branches of facial, which are coming out here. Temporal, zygomatic, buccal, mandibular, cervical. So just make sure you can differentiate the branches of trigeminal versus the branches of facial, know who does what, and you should be good to go. Questions? No? Good?